Okay, I thought I'd share this video since this is what we use to make our bat houses. It's a ShopBot CNC machine. This one's been with us since it was new in 2006. It's doing a great job. Recently put hardened rails on it. It just keeps working and working, so I don't see the need to replace it as long as we keep it maintained. And what I need to do today is replace the Z pinion on the axis that moves the spindle up and down. The reason is it's just worn. We're suffering from accuracy problems in depth. We noticed a little bit of variance in cutting some of the parts and figured out that it's the Z depth, and it occurs at a very specific location, which is where we cut most of the roosting grooves at that depth. So it's just time to replace the pinion. The pinion, you can see the little gear there, is what engages on the rack to move the axis up and down by this stepper motor that's hung off the back. And what we have to do is actually drop the spindle assembly out, lay it down. That'll give us access to remove the bolts on the stepper motor and take it out if we want to, or I can probably do it without having to remove it. Just replace the spindle, get it back on there cleaned up, then we'll test it, make sure our depth is doing good, and we'll be back good to go. So I thought I'd share this process. Don't know how long this video will be. I'll edit it up to try to make sure the interesting bits are included. And if you're a CNC machine owner or thinking about owning one, it'll kind of give you an idea of what's going on. This particular CNC machine has a lot of time on it. It's made thousands of bat houses, and hopefully it'll make thousands more. Get around the camera here. Since I'm a single camera operator, I gotta put it on a tripod. We have a 4 horsepower HSD spindle. Now I discovered the way the ShopBot is it has these springs that help neutrally make the spindle neutrally buoyant, so the stepper motor doesn't have to work as hard moving up and down. And we have to take those springs off, let it drop down, then I'll slide it back and I'll actually drop the entire spindle assembly on the rack here off and lay it down. Done this a few times, so this is always the last pinion to replace. I replace the X and the Y pinions pretty regularly. They're just a lot easier to get to. I don't replace this one as much as I should. And when I get it out, you won't be able to tell that there's a difference, but there's a lot of slop in it right now, so I just need to get that fixed so that, especially when we cut bat house kits, that the cuts are accurate and the kits fit together. The more inaccuracy there is, the more difficulty we have with the parts fitting. So the first thing I do is this back spring, which is a little smaller than the other one, I take it off and I just let the chain run up in there. That gives me a way to retrieve the spring later. This one, I'll let it pull the head all the way down into the table, and this spring is a little more stout. And again, I'll let it run right up inside, and it's out of the way. I'll now throw this chain up here out of the way. Hopefully it won't keep falling off like it did last time. In fact, I'll just hang it on the belt here. There we go. Now it's just sitting in there, and we're able to pull this thing out. Now it's rather heavy, and it's tethered with the line here. I can take that off. I mean, it's not a big deal. This comes right off, but I got to use a screw to take it. I end up leaving it on there because it lets it drop low enough, and then I can just lay it down. So hopefully we don't learn any new words, because this can be kind of heavy. Excuse me, I got a bit of a cold going on here. I forgot I got a stop that I got to remove here. This isn't going to fall out until I take that stop out, which isn't hard to do. I generally forget it and bang into it and go, oh yeah, I got to take this out. Like I said, I don't do this too terribly often, so this would be a good time to edit the video. And I'm back, and it just so happens that this bolt is crescent sized. So I'm not to be too worried about precision here. It's just sandwiched in here. Generally, I can break this and get it to fall out without too much trouble. Sometimes I can't, because it's just a bolt. Well, you'll see in a minute. It's kind of a pain to get to. I should have done this before I did this, but it'll fall out. Getting it back end's an equal pain. You know, obviously this thing's not going to fall out. I don't even know why it's in here. Well, I do know why it's in here. If you were to try and run it down that far and the stepper motor was pushing on it, you would want the stepper, you'd want it to hit a stop, not just jam into the table and pick the frame up. There we go. Up. That's all it is. Just that. Now we can do what I need to do. Right, I remembered that. Okay, supporting the weight, pull this off here. Pull this on down. It is now free of the pinion. Drop this right on down. Put it back a little further. There we go. And I just lay it over here to the side. Spin it around. And we're good. That's not going anywhere. And I'll clean up some of the grease on that. I recently started using different grease. I was using this real dirty grease on here, and I just switched to T9. I just coat it with Bow Shield T9, let it dry on there. That pinion is right there on the end of the stepper motor, and it just sits in there, spins around and around, and it engages to that rack and moves it up and down. And the rack is harder than the pinion, so the pinion becomes the wear item, which is what you want. So I'm going to clean everything up, move my camera to a better location so you can see the pinion swap, and swap that pinion out. Okay, all I'm doing is cleaning up while I have this open. You know, I don't get in here often to, you know, I don't take this Z-axis out. You can hear our roosters out there crowing. And I clean up the V-rollers, and I actually like to use T9 on the V-rollers and use the T9 to help as a cleaning agent too. It just kind of emulsifies the existing oil that's there, loosens it up, and you can clean it up, and then it coats. T9 is really an interesting industrial lubricant that I have really grown to love over the years. I use it on the table saw, the tools, you know, so I don't have rust and stuff built up. It's because I use the T9. And the pinions that I started keeping oil with it on the bot, I've noticed that they seem to last just as well with T9 as they did with white lithium grease or motorcycle chain oil, both of which are considerably messier. I got it cleaned up to the point that I want it cleaned, and what I generally do here is this pinion is set on the motor shaft, and I generally will measure this depth, which is 2.8 millimeters. Double check zero, zeroed. Bring that back out, and I'll bring it in again. Yeah, 2.7, 2.8 millimeters. And what that lets me do is put the new pinion back on at the same depth. Obviously, if this has been working, that's where I want it to be. I don't want to put it on too deep or not deep enough. I've got the new pinion over here. Going to go ahead and soak it with T9 so it can be drying. Again, I like T9. Use it quite a bit. You can. It gets on wood. It still dries. You can still paint over it, and you know, it does a good job. But yeah, this has been an interesting year for us. This is the beginning of 2016 here, but 2015 was an interesting year. I've already loosened the Allen keys, by the way. We had a really good year. We participated in Bat Week. Well, let's see. You know what? I think this is loose enough. I can probably get this off without having to use the puller this time. Let me see. So I don't like to put pressure on the shafts of these motors at all. I prefer just put a little puller on there. Oh yeah, it's moving. Yeah, here it comes. Yeah, alright. Good. That was easier than it should have been. I'd had to go get my glasses to see this thing for sure, but that's pretty worn. Yeah, I can see a couple of teeth that are sharper than they should be. It's probably the ones used right at the depth we used the most, and it was letting the head of the machine jump around a little bit. But I was saying 2015 was good. We participated in Bat Week back in October. We provided bat house kits, our single chamber bat house kit primarily, but we let people buy any kit they wanted. We did a pretty good discount on them and participated in it. The goal was to build, there we go, yeah, that works. The goal was to build 5,000 bat house kits nationwide. Several organizations participated. We were a bat house supplier, and I think we provided around 500 kits. I don't know how many kits were built. I was trying to find that out, get an exact number, but we did provide quite a few of them. And there toward the end, we were the only supplier able to keep up with the volume, because we use machinery. We've got a pretty tight program running. You know, this is January, this is the slow time of the year. We might sell 20 bat houses this month, maybe, kits included. I think we've done maybe 10 already. So January is when I like to take the machinery down and do the things that I need to do to make sure we're running up to speed. I'm having trouble seeing this. I'm trying to set it to 2.8. Oh, getting old is fun, I tell you what. Okay. There we go, that's 2.8. I have to double check that a few times. Tighten it down. Move it. But you know, March gets pretty busy with bat houses, and then through the season. Christmas can be busy. We get a lot of requests for bat houses in and around that time. We do our best to supply them all. The kit's really the best way to go. It's available not just on our website. If you didn't know, go check out Amazon. Our kits are on Amazon as well. Amazon shipping, they're eligible for Prime shipping. So if you have a Prime account, you can get one of our kits and have it in a couple of days. Put it together and have a really nice bat house kit. It was also fun to see some of the other articles from some of the other businesses that participated, the other organizations like Bat Conservation International. It was just kind of fun to see bunches of people putting our kits together and to see them in news stories. It's just pretty cool. That's always surprised me over the years to see something like that. And it's pretty neat to do. I got this a little bit wrong. This is the twiddly part. I should get a step ladder. I could take the motor off to do this, but for some reason in my mind I think this is easier. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. Let's see where I'm at. if I don't get the depth set right, then it won't engage on the rack fully, and that can cause uneven wear. And I'm being a little bit more particular than I really have to be on this, but I've got the time and I want to do it right, and it translates to better accuracy when I'm cutting. Makes the equipment last longer, which is useful anytime you're wanting to do that. And that's right, we got a good, there's a good one there now. It's always good for the equipment to last longer, because nothing you see here is cheap, which was kind of a surprise to a lot of people. We really do primarily build bat houses. That's what this machinery is for. We are not a cabinet shop producing cabinets with bat houses on the side. We are, we're still a mom and pop shop, but we're definitely ahead of the curve so far as, this isn't a garage shop where we produce them. I can produce far more volume than we actually sell, which is good in a way. I would like to sell more bat houses, so tell your friends if they want to buy a bat house where to go get one. But my goal with this is to enjoy what I'm doing, enjoy building the bat house, and build a good bat house. I would rather sell fewer bat houses that are done right and priced appropriately than to do some of these cheap bat houses that are out there. I mean, I've seen bat houses for, supposedly fully finished and ready to hang for $25–30. I've seen kits for $10. None of them meet the needs of the colony roosting species of bats. And I base our designs on Bat Conservation International's research, other organizations' research, and I try to make sure that the bat houses meet those standards. And I talk to bat biologists. We go to the events, like we're part of the Georgia Bat Working Group. We go to the meetings. I make no secret about what we do. I support them and do my best. I just want to make doubly sure these are tight. I put these on 1 year and did not make sure they were tight, and started getting some slippage and had to redo this. And so I just want to make sure. But we support them the best way that we can, and it's a lot of fun to meet the people and be involved and stuff like that. Because I'm an engineer in training, college, Georgia Tech, no less. And I enjoy this. You should find something that you enjoy doing and do it. Okay, I think we got that just about ready to go back in, which means it's time for some grunting, shoving, and pushing to get this thing back in there. That's always fun. I generally like to have someone help me, but today I'm going to have to do it by myself. Alright, this is in the way again. I have to pull that out. There we go. That wasn't so bad. I got things hung up in the wrong order here, so take this off. Do what I should have done in the first place and just take it out completely. Here we go. Back up here. Make sure I don't pull on that too much. good. Alright. Hook it all back up and test it. Wipe this down. Do get a lot of sawdust in this job. We can get a 55-gallon drum a day when we're running meeting production. And looks good. Try to keep everything as clean as we can. Of course, clean is relative. As shops go, this one does stay very clean, but it still gets dirty in places. So anyway, now this chain that I use, I control my spring, the valance springs back down. And I can put the small one on first. And then I can pull the large one back down. This one's always a bit more of a challenge, but not bad. And there we go. 'Tis back on. Well, I do got to put my stop stud back in, but that's not a problem. It just takes me a minute to do that. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like this kind of video, let me know. I don't know with Habitat for Bats sometimes what videos to put up and which ones not, because once I do something once, it's out there. I kind of don't think about doing it again. But I can certainly do more of these types of videos where I'm in the shop, not necessarily working on bat houses or working with bats. But I can talk about bats while I'm doing it. Certainly can do that and talk about what we're doing and why we're doing it. But there's maintenance like this all over the place that we have to do. You know, it's a woodworking shop. There's table saw maintenance, CNC machinery maintenance, bandsaw maintenance. There's always something to do. Sometimes new equipment. You know, when we do get a new piece of equipment, we got to get it set up. You know, we make jigs and things to hold things in place while we work. So if you like this kind of video, let me know, and I'll try to do more of them in the future. Otherwise, there'll be occasional, few and far between, that I'll do like this. But definitely, if you have a question, just put it in the comments, and we're looking forward to a good year this year, 2016. Got more videos lined up, specific to bats, specific to bat houses, bat house kits. I stay busy a lot, so it's difficult to do the videos mixed in with everything else that's going on. It can get kind of difficult to do it, but we definitely try to do it for the individual products. And I'm hoping this year to get our YouTube channel pretty well organized and cleaned up so that you can enjoy the videos and link to the products. So if you got any questions, let me know. Hope you enjoyed the video.